You're not going to make any leeway. And one of the things I always do when it's a problem, I ask them, I reverse the roles. I said, okay, if you were me and I was you, what would you tell me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How would you tell me to handle that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they'll stop because they don't expect you to ask them that question. It's like, they have to sit there and really think about what they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that, or what they didn't do.
Yeah.
And so, but they are more apt to listen to you. I mean, even with my daughters.
But
it's the same way.
The other thing, and I'll throw this in, we get back in the text, is because this age group now has quick access to information. Mm-hmm. You got about 7 seconds to say something. If you ain't saying nothing in them 7 seconds, man, you can hang it up. I'm shutting the door, and I'm still here, but I ain't here. Yeah. And that type of thing. So you got to be able to say something that's meaningful, and they don't play no games no more. I mean, you got to be able to, you got to know what you're talking about. I mean, and so giving them a platform to share their ideas, their thoughts, I think is helpful. But also being able to get straight to the point, because they're in the age now where they can just push a button and they'll talk to Siri on you. Siri, what'd you say about it? What's her name?
Siri.
Yeah, and so
or Google,
or Alexis, whatever. They'll call them up right quick. So you got to be quick to be able to ask. Let's go back to the Bible now. All right, what you say? Yeah, Miss Sheila said yeah. 19. In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim, and they were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Y'all want to underline that text right there, verse 4.
I got lost. I'm sorry.
I'm in 19.
Okay.
Verse 4. Just finish verse 4. Verse 5 now. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice, indeed, and keep my what? Covenant. Y'all see that? Then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people, for all the earth is mine. So he's setting up this new covenant I talked about. You got to obey. You know what I'm saying? You got to obey, that type of thing. And so he says, I want you to obey my voice and keep my covenant. So now he's putting that, it's a law. This is the installation of that, what I shared with you earlier. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. Moses came and called unto the elders of the people, laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded them. And all the people answered together and said, All that the Lord has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. So Moses now is an intercessor. He is between God and the people. God is not talking directly to the people. He's talking to Moses. Moses talking to the people are not talking directly to God, they're talking to Moses. So Moses is almost like a mail deliverer taking the mail back and forth. Y'all see this? All right? You got a problem with that, Chief?
No.
Okay. I thought you want to say something. All right, you was looking at me strange. I didn't know. Okay, and the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. It's going back and forth, right? And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the 3rd day. For the 3rd day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people unto the Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves that ye not go up unto the mount and touch the border of it. And whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. All right. So let me give you all an example of what that means in the church. You remember in the church when they had the old school church, they had the altar. You couldn't run up in that altar. You run across that altar you want to, you catch a beat down. Mother beat you, that type of thing. Whoop you. You might get 2 whoopings.
Yeah. Come folks.
All right. Okay. Oh no, you run across, and this is funny now. So when I was a young boy, I went in the altar I went up in the altar. I was a little boy, and I was up there, and my mom was getting ready to whoop me. And the preacher, I don't remember who he was, but the preacher, this story my mom told me, said the preacher was getting ready to whoop me for going in the pulpit. And the preacher says, don't bother him, that boy might be a preacher one day. Leave him alone. And he let me set up in the big chairs, the big high back chairs, and that type of thing. So it's interesting. This is interesting. So this is kind of the concept that's going on. And a lot of that stuff that we've seen in the church originated from different texts like this, where you read, oh, you can't go, that type of thing. Okay, and thou shalt set bounds to the people round about. Take heed yourself, go up to the mount, touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but ye shall surely be stoned or shot through. That's tough, ain't it? Whether it be beast or man, they shoot the dog, anything go across. It shall not live. When the trumpet sound long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mountain to the people, sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. Now, y'all know sanctified means to be set apart for God's use. To be set apart for God's use. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day, and come not at your wives. In other words, abstain. All right? And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightning and thick cloud and mountain and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. Now you got to picture this. So all of a sudden it starts thundering and lightning. It's the third day. God get ready to talk. It's thundering and lightning and everything's jumping off and everybody's scared. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the neither part of the mount. And the Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon a fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up, and the Lord said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also which come near to the Lord sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. And Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou charges us, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify. And the Lord said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee, but let not the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. Any questions, thoughts? Did you ever see Jesus in there? Go back to verse 4.
When he carried you on eagle's wings,
Yep.
brought you to my.
So who chose who in this situation? Did they come to God, or did God go get them? God went and got them. How are we saved? Jesus had to come down to us. Because once we fell in sin, we couldn't save ourselves. So if he doesn't come down, and so I always use this illustration when I'm doing evangelism. I always say, if this is God's hand and this is man, and when man sinned, he fell from grace. And the question is, can that candy get back in my hand?
No.
And if you're a man of sin, you can't get back into God's hand. The only way you can, if God wrapped himself in flesh, born of a Virgin Mary, Jesus Christ comes down to earth and picks us up and takes us back up. So in this text, you see where they couldn't save themselves. God saying, I'm the one that brought you out. I'm the one that chose you out. And so salvation is not only a wonderful thing to speak, but it's a privilege, man, because he chose me before I chose him.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. So, but that's what I mean by being able to see Jesus in the text. You can find him on every page. There's a principle on every page if you look for it. I'm going to go to 20, and what time we got? I'm going to do 20, and that's going to be it. And God spake unto all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that take this name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all the work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor the cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, which means he made it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be what? Long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's, the dog, the cat, anything. Verse 18. And all the people saw the thunder and the lightning and the noise and the trumpet and the mountain and smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. So they ran back. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die. We don't want to talk to him. We'll talk with you. We'll talk with you, man. But hey, you go talk to him. I ain't having that. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you that his fear may be before your faces, that we sin not. It's like, man, you know him. I don't know him. I don't know him like that. Right. Ain't that interesting? Mm-hmm. Can y'all see how that happens today? Mm-hmm. You pray for me.
Right.
I ain't talking to him. And the people stood far off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was, and the Lord said unto Moses, Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Now God said, listen, I talk to you all the way from heaven. You shall not make with me gods of silver. And listen to what he's saying now. He says, you got a God that talks to you. You don't need to go make no little idol over there, no silver, and call yourself worshiping it. Y'all getting it? Mm-hmm. Neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. Now, God must know something finna jump off, because he's telling them not to do this.
Right.
But you know what they're going to do later on, right? And the altar of the earth that shall make unto me, and shall sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings and thy peace offerings, thy sheep, that all oxes, and in all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee and I will bless thee. So God said, listen, I'm talking to you, I'm going to bless you, man. Just don't try to put nothing else and make nothing stand in place of me. That's what an idol God is. It's something that stands in place of God. All right? He says, and if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewed stone, for if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shall thou go up by steps unto my altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon. Any questions?
What does that say?
Okay, I was hoping somebody asked that question.
Verse.
All right, the last.
Explain that last.
Let me get the last two if you don't mind. So the hewed stone, y'all know what hewed stone is, right? It's where you have pre-cut it. He said, I don't want that. I want it in its natural state. Don't alter it. Okay, let me give you an example. What that means? That means when you come to God, you ain't got to try to fix yourself up. Just come on like you are, because that's what I really want. I want you to come as you are, then I can deal with you. Ain't no need you trying to chisel off this and that. If you're going to come to me, just bring it all that you got. That makes sense. Okay, and you said last verse. Neither shall thou go up the steps from the altar, that your nakedness be not exposed upon it. In other words, God has told them, don't come into this holy place, because what he's setting up is the order of priests, really. Is really what's beginning to be set up, to where there's a place where if you're not a priest, you're not going to come into this place. Why is he doing that? Because that is symbolic to who Christ is. How do we go to God? I have to go to Christ. I can't just roll up on God. I got to go to Christ first. Does that make sense? So Christ maketh intercession for me. Christ covers me. I'm covered under his blood. So now when I go before God in the grace dispensation, I go under the blood of Jesus. And when he looks at me, he don't see me, he sees his son. And he sees his blood of his son. And so he doesn't see my sin, he sees the blood of his son. I'm covered and I'm pure as long as I'm under the blood of the son. Does that make sense? So he's setting that up. Did that answer your question? Give me 3 comments, we're going home. 3 responses, we're going home.